A lot of so-called convenient blinds are controllable with some type of remote. For instance, this roller shade here you can control with the remote. However, this one is special because you can control it through the Matter ecosystem, meaning multiple ecosystems at the same time. Hey Siri, close the blind in the main bedroom. Hey Siri, raise the blind in the main bedroom. And as you can see, that's quite responsive. Now, this one is quite impressive. However, this one is a much more premium version. As you can see, the blackout at the back is going up and the sunshade at the front is coming down. The sunshade is partially see-through, meaning that you can kind of see through, but it will block 5% of the light that is coming through. As you can hear, it is still pretty quiet. They are pretty easy to install when you read the instructions, as you'll see in the video. They both work with the Matter ecosystem, meaning that you can control them through multiple platforms at the same time. For instance, mine is in Apple Home, the Lady A app, the Aqara app and Home Assistant. All three of the rollers are powered by solar panels, meaning that you don't have to charge them and you don't have any wires trailing about down the walls to power them. You can set them up on automations, and SmartWings have a variety of choice, meaning that you can completely individualize these blinds. Let's get into the video. Just before we get into everything, if you are interested in any of the SmartWings products, then you can take a look in the description where there is a affiliate link that you can go straight to the website. And just for full transparency, I may get a little bit of a kickback, but it's at no additional cost to you. Now let's get into the video. Starting by ordering from the SmartWings website, as you can see, the homepage cycles through some of the things that they do. Incidentally, they don't just do blinds, but they do curtains, as you've just seen pop up here. And the process is actually quite simple. If we come up, you can see a variety of different things to order on this menu, and we are going to select dual shades. This is just because there's a slightly different ordering process on the dual shades. If we come down, I'm going to select the Harmony Duo Plus here because it's what's in the video that I'm going to be showing you. With this one, if you just selected, say, one roller blind, then you only get one choice of fabric here, but there are many choices of fabric. And here for the front shade, I chose a 5% blockage, so if we click there, and for the back one I selected a blackout, and I believe it was the Safari that I chose, but I could be wrong. Next, you can choose to measure inside the window or outside the window, and it tells you exactly how you need to measure, so it's very easy, it's all straightforward. For people in the UK, just be aware that you are measuring up in inches rather than centimetres or millimetres. So say we wanted to do 25 inches across and it was actually 25 and a quarter, then you can select your quarter measurement here. Again, for the drop, say it was 26 inches, but this time it was an extra 3/4. So essentially here we are, 25 and 1/4 inch for the width and 26 and 3/4 for the drop. And that is from the top of the blind up here down to the bottom of the blind. So this is essentially the inside of your window frame using this measurement, and this is the top of the window sill. Again, you can adjust this when you receive the blinds. However, with these measurements, the drop will be calibrated before the blinds are sent out to you. Also on these duo shades, you can choose battery, DC or AC power. I chose the battery because I wanted to use solar panels with it, and you get the different types of motor. You can have standard, Zigbee, Lady A, Z-Wave, or the one that I think is the most useful, the Matter over thread. This is because it can perform in multiple different ecosystems simultaneously. Then you choose your valance. So this is the top part, as you can see here. You get many different options. As you can see, you have the white, black or silver. I'm going to choose black in this instance. And again, you have your bottom bar, fabric wrapped, that will actually match the fabric that is on here. So we'll just keep that one there. You can choose whether or not to have a solar panel. When you look at it over a long-term use, however, the solar panels will save you money because you're not having to charge them up via your electric. Now, regardless of how many blinds you get, you will need at least one remote, and the lowest one here comes with 5 channels, so essentially this will control up to 5 blinds. The next one up to 15. The next one along is an 8 channel remote, and these other two are a little bit different. You have 8 channel Helix dial remote, which is a round circular thing, and you get the white version, which is also 8 channel. Here we have the default roll type, so as you can see, one is rolling out, one is rolling in. Motor side, this one is the right hand side, but on some of the other blinds you can choose left or right hand side. Down here we have the light blockers, so this will go down this side of the blind and this side of the blind, and you can, I believe, choose one to go across the bottom so that no light seeps through the sides of the blinds, because there is a small gap. As you can see, there is a little gap from here to here. That is a simple L. But if we choose this one, it wraps around both sides of the blinds. So let's say we chose that one. You can also choose custom fabric here if you get in touch with them, and then you can name the blind and then add to your basket. So this is how you order on the SmartWings app. It is very simple. If you do need to contact them, then the staff do seem extremely friendly, and from placing my order to the blinds getting to my door, it was 4 days. So I was extremely impressed with that. Custom made bespoke blinds delivered to my door within 4 days of ordering. Let's dive in and you'll see what you get in the box when they are delivered to your door. As you can see then, on the floor we have received 3 packages. This one here is the roller shade, and excuse me for reading, but it's a longer name. This one is the Dual Shade Harmony Duo Plus. And then in the 3rd package we get the light blockers for the 2 blinds. Now, as you can see, they are very thick. Hopefully that shows up on the camera there. They're quite thick and they are a very chunky, sturdy plastic, and on the underside of them you get a full length sticky pad, so that will be able to go on the windows. Now I'll show you with one of the shorter ones just because it's easy. I believe these are going to go like this on the windows, but I haven't decided yet. It might go like that or it could go like that, but we'll decide that in a little bit once everything's up. So what you get in this package with the dual shade, as you can see, it came in bubble wrap and you've got foam around it and everything like that. I do like the fact that it's got a nice little brush up here. You'll see on here you have 2 matter codes. Now, one thing that I wanted to point out is there is a very good app called HomePass, and I'll put a link to it in the description. It basically saves all your Matter and HomeKit codes in the app so that you never lose them. And obviously with something like this, it can be very easy to lose the little sticker or for it to become a little bit defaced. So that's always good practice. Take a photo and keep it that way, or just download the HomePass app. I think you can get it on a one-time purchase or a subscription, but either way, it's a very good app. This is the front of the blind. As you can see, you have the back here, and there's a couple of shades, but we'll show you setting that up in a bit. In this packet, we also got a little alignment strip, so you can mark out and drill your brackets. You have some fixings, although in my case I may be doing things a little bit differently, and I'll explain why in a second. You also get a Type-C charging cable. Sorry, you get 2 because there's obviously 2 motors in that one. You have 2 solar panels, so this is the back that will face towards you, and this is the front that will face out towards the sun, and as you can see, USB connection. You also get a little bit of instructions for them as well, and you get a remote. The batteries do come in the remote, and what I do like is you can attach that to your wall, and you only need 1 remote for these 2 blinds. In fact, I'll put up somewhere how many blinds this can control, but you can get one that controls even more blinds, and you can get a rotary dial. So hopefully you'll be seeing a picture of the other remote here and a picture of the other remote here. In the standard roller shade one that we're going to be putting in the bedroom, you get the blackout fabric here and a couple of little foam things to protect everything. Again, you get the little brush and you get your little matter code there, so don't forget to take a note of that. You don't want to be losing it. And these brackets, the same on that one. You push and lift, and they come out. They have a very, very powerful spring here, and to put them back in again, it's the front one there, push and push down, and that isn't going anywhere. In this one we also have a USB-C cable, also have a fixing kit, a solar panel and the instructions for the solar panel, and you get lots of instructions in both of them. So if I just pick this one up, you can see we get quick start guide, quick installation guide, light blockers, so that's how to install your light blockers, matter getting started guide, and a remote programming guide. Now, one thing that I did note as well is there is a little sticker on there that says the remote comes pre-paired to the blind, so I know it's definitely paired to that one because it came in that box. It may be pre-programmed to this one as well, but we shall see as we're going along. What I'm going to do is take this blind down. I'm not going to do that bit on camera. I'm sure you know how to put a blind down. I'll show you putting the other one up though. Now, the reason that I said I'm going to do things a little bit differently here is there is a metal lintel above the window, and I think it's roughly about 6mm thick. So I have some special drill bits that should tap through the metal and also put a screw tap in there. So instead of using these, if these taps work, I'm going to be using a bolt and actually bolting the brackets on there instead. So I'll take this down and I'll be back with you in a second. Now, it says on the instructions that the optimal position for these is 10cm away from the end, so we've just measured that, and what we want is a little pencil, and I'm going to roughly mark out where this is going to go. As you can see, if you measure properly, then it fits quite nice, and I would say about that. Quite handily. I don't really need to do too much marking, and I'll show you why in a second. Just because I've had a couple of negative comments in the past, I just want to address something quickly. My house isn't perfect, and it's not perfect for a reason. So you will see that, you know, there's marks where I've just taken the old blind down. This is because all of the things that I do are real world situations. So there's no fancy flair. This is how it probably is in a lot of people's homes. Other people's homes aren't perfect, mine isn't as well. I want to give you the truest representation of what to expect. So what I've done here is this part here, hopefully you can see, is where the back of the brackets are going to sit. So it's quite handy because I've already now got a perfectly straight line there, and all I've done is I've put a little mark here, which is going to be the inside of the bracket. So the pencil, the bracket's going to go this side, and here I've got a pencil mark and the bracket's going to go on this side. So we'll get them brackets up now. So this is the little drill bit I was telling you about. It has a little bit of tap on the front, and it's extremely sharp. It's specifically for metal, and I don't know if you can see, but there's little threads, and what that will allow is for a bolt to actually go into the metal. So we're going to see if this works. We'll take one of these brackets and we'll take our pencil and we'll just mark it up and make sure that we drill in the middle of these holes. And if I then go and mark the other one, just to make it a little bit easier on myself, I've got a little step, and we're going to steadily get right in the middle of there. So as it turns out, the metal work is a bit further back than I thought, so I can put the wall plugs in. And that's the wall plugs in. I made a little bit of a boo-boo, so I've moved these in ever so slightly, and what it was is the screws that came with these are too long and they were hitting the metal that's above here, and because my taps are too short, I can't actually drill up to the metal. So it's a case of the taps are too short but the screws are too long. So instead I've put some different anchor plugs in here, and I've got some slightly shorter screws, so just be aware of that. You need to test what is above your window if you're putting it on the inside. Now you have a rubber gasket and you have your bracket, and the other one's already up because I wanted to test and not look like a dummy when I was putting it in. And as you see, the rubber gasket lines up here like this. Then what we can do is get our screws, and if we line the back one up with the back plug and just turn it a little bit so it just catches nicely, then we can get that one up here. And this is why you should always mark properly, because I think I've marked wrong. As you can see, everything doesn't go perfect. I'm going to go for another try and then I'll let you see it once the bracket's actually up. As you can see, it's a little bit warm, so I've taken my cardy off. Now, I'm not thinking that we're going to need the USB-C charging cables at the moment, because there should be a little bit of charge in it. However, one thing I did forget to point out with this one is this little button here, the programming button. So this wants to go in the rear shade when it goes up, but also it says after you take the little wraps off, I did notice you get another QR code on there, so that's another place you can find the QR code by the look of it. And it does say that you have to take these bits of foam that are shaped like a C out. Don't forget to do that, and be careful not to disturb any of those transmitters. As you can see, hopefully down here there is 2 USB-Cs, so it says that that wants to go in the rear one, just like that, and then you've got access to that button there. And your solar panels, one of them will plug into that there, USB-C, and the other one will plug into the bottom one. So them brackets are now secured. I realised my mistake. What I've done is, with that one on the left hand side, I rushed marking it instead of marking it properly, slowly, and it went a little bit wrong. So on this bit here, what we do is we want to find that there, tilt it forward ever so slightly until you feel it grip on. So one side's on, there we go. So, and then we want to push it back, and I think that's it. So that is the blinds on there. Now, as you can see, up here there is one QR code, there is the other QR code, and these solar panels, I think I'm going to be putting them there, like that. To wake these up, they actually come in sleep mode, so that nothing can be activated. I'm just going to take the phone from Sam and show you under here. There is a little button there, and you'll need to hold that for a couple of seconds until it makes a slight jog. So I'll pass the phone back to Sam, hold the bottom one to start with, and we'll go, oh, there we go. There's the slight jog, and we shall do the other one as well, which is a little bit harder to get to. I think I've been an absolute numpty. Control button, I think this is why you get this one, and that's why you put it on the top. So if we hold this one, there we are, we have a little jerk and it's awoken. So Sam's behind the camera, absolutely messing herself laughing. In fact, her face has actually gone red, because typical guy, I didn't read that part of the instructions. However, like I said previously in the video, real world scenario, so you're getting a real world look. So we have the remote and it says it's pre-programmed. And there we go, so it is pre-programmed. Down is for down, the middle one is for stop, and the top one is for up. See if it stops. Perfect. Let's have a look and see if blind 2 will go down. And it does. I must say as well, it's quite quiet. If I take my thing off and hold it up, I obviously measured a little bit wrong. As you can see, it's actually touching the bottom and it's gone just a little bit too far. So we're now going to reprogram the blind. I'll show you how to do that now. As you can see, I've raised it slightly and now we're going to set the lower limit. So on here, you have your stop and down buttons. We're going to hold for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll now set that. There we go. So I would now say that's the correct limit. So 1, 2, there we are. Okay, so it moves and things. At least you got to see how that works. So now we'll put it up a bit, stop it and put it down. I love how it goes a little bit slower before it stops. If we swap over to the other one will obviously need doing as well. So we'll go left onto the first blind, press down. So again, as you can see, that's just a little bit too low. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and it goes boop boop, so we'll go up, 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 there we are, and then press them two again, 1, 2, and that's set. So we'll confirm that, we'll go up, stop and down. There we are. This is the 5% blackout and it is quite effective. You can still kind of see out, but it will block some of the sun, so I do quite like that. Now we shall get it set up in some of the ecosystems. I'm going to start, unusually, like a lot of creators, they all start with Apple Home. I'm actually going to start with Home Assistant, then I'm going to put it across into Apple Home, the Aqara app, see if we can get it into Lady A as well, and that bit should be coming up just now. Just before we do that, I completely forgot about the solar panels. Now what I've done is I put the solar panels up on the window, and now as you can see, that's the film that we've put on the window. So we want to make sure that we leave a little bit of slack, and as you can see on here, it says run the power cable above the bottom bar to keep it from getting caught. So we're going to stick this on. If I can get this sticky tape off, we're going to stick it on. There we go. So that is extremely sticky. So we want to try and get this as precise as possible. And there we are. And what I've done as well is, I don't know if you can see at this side, but I've left enough room so that this wire isn't immediately being bent over on itself. Now what we can do with this is, oh, I haven't stuck these on, I was just putting them in place to see if they would go, and they do. There's just enough room to put it on at the side of here, and again at the other side, so it looks like it's about a 1/16 of a gap on either side, so that these slide up, which means that it will black everything out. So just for now, to make it easy, I'm going to take this out. And that's a nice satisfying little click there. And then the other one we can plug into here. There we are. And then it says put it over the top of the bottom bar to prevent it from going. So what we can do is, with the thing here, if we put that up, when that blind goes on like that, then nothing will get caught as the blind is going up and down. Now I'll show you setting up in the app. Now then, as we can see, we've got Home Assistant open on the iPad. To put these into pairing mode, we're going to do the blackout one first. So we're going to hold this for 6 seconds, and when we do the front one, it'll be this button that you hold for 6 seconds. What I was saying about Home Pass earlier, you can store your things on there, so you don't have to be craning your neck or anything. On Home Assistant, we're going to go to Settings, we're going to go to Devices and Services and Matter. Have a look at one of my other videos on how to set that up, or just search how to set up Matter in Home Assistant. We'll click on Add Device, and it's new. And because it's on the iPad, we can scan the code, so we'll just do that now. And it has come up already that it's a blind, so we're going to add to Home Assistant. Something came up in the background, it's doing things. So it's come up with SmartWings window covering. We're going to rename this. We're going to click continue, and we're going to click done. And that is a lot of information that comes up. So this is it in Home Assistant. As you can see, the firmware is up to date. If we click on there, the latest version is 1.3.0, and you can see if there was a new version, then it would come up here as update. So we'll click X on here. You can see that the battery level is 79% and it is charging, so that confirms that the solar panel is doing its job. The battery voltage is 7.14 volts. Configuration status is okay, and you can identify by pressing. So let's see what happens when we identify. When you identify, there is a little LED and it flashes. I can't really show you on that one because it's going to be an odd camera angle. And also you have the activity. You can set up automations, scenes and scripts, but we'll go through that in a moment. I'm just going to show you getting into other ecosystems. What we're going to do now is click on Share Device and Share Device. That's going to put it into pairing mode, and as you can see, you have your code here. So we're going to copy this code, and we're going to quickly go across to Apple Home, click plus in the top right and add accessory, and more options at the top. And as you can see, the SmartWings blind has come up there. So we're just going to paste that code in that we copied, and click continue. It's now connecting, it's adding to the home, and we are going to put this in the living room. Oh, that's one thing that I completely forgot to do. I'll do that in a second. We'll add that to the living room, and we're going to keep the naming consistent. Going to click tick and continue. We're just going to leave that for now, but obviously you can set up automations with it, and we're going to click done. Now if we go into the living room, you can see we have our blackout blind. If we click on there and go to settings first, you can see 79%, so the charge has gone up a little bit. It is charging, it's in the living room. You can add or remove from home view, include it in your favourites. You can group it with other accessories, set up automations. You've got suggested scenes, 3 of them. Status and notifications, so you can choose to include activity notifications or include in home summaries. You've got connected services 2, and the firmware again is 1.3.0. We're going to confirm that it works in HomeKit. If we pull this down, as you can see, the blind starts going down. If we go back up again, that's actually really quick to respond. I'm quite impressed. Now that I realise my mistake, we will go back over here to Home Assistant, and we'll click on the pencil at the top and the area. I'm going to put this in the living room. There we go, we're going to update that. So for some reason it's still coming up with SmartWings, it hasn't renamed it. So if we go on our settings, name here, you can choose your icon and things. We're just going to update that now. There we go, so you have blackout blind. So again, we're going to press the down arrow, and it responds. If we press stop and back up, there we go. And as you can see, it is fairly quick to respond. So again, we're going to put it into another ecosystem now. So again, if we click share device and share device again, we will copy that code and then go over to our Aqara app. We are going to click plus up here and add accessory and matter device, add by number pairing code, paste it in here, click OK. As you can see, it's connecting. Now I won't have to do much with this one because the M3 hub is in the living room, but most of my devices connect through the M3 hub, and when I do the upstairs one, you'll note that I will have to change the area. So yes, it's already in use, and it's in use with Home Assistant, which is there in front of my eyes. We're going to enter the matter pairing code, paste it in here, click OK, and M3. And can you tell that I've done this a few times because I know where everything is. So it's connecting, it's setting up now. As you can see at the top now, an accessory is added to another home. And again, we're going to rename this just to keep everything consistent, and click continue, and we're going to click done. As you can see, it's registering the device now with the M3. And here we are. So we're going to change the name in here again. I should have copied and pasted. Copy that just in case I need it again. And as you can see, it's in the living room location because that's where the M3 is. So we're going to click next. Again, just for consistency, click OK. You can choose your icon. At the minute it's curtains, so I am going to change this to something like that, and we're going to click done. As you can see, this has brought the blackout blind up. As you can see, at the moment it is open 100%. So if we click close here, that updates. We're going to click pause just to make sure that that works, and that's paused, and we're going to click open and open. So we've confirmed that it works in there as well. Now, because everything is so closely integrated, as you can see, SmartWings window cover has come up in the Lady A app on the phone, and this is because I have Nabu Casa on Home Assistant. So if we click that notification saying that it's come up, the blackout blind is set up and ready to use, and this is because we set everything up in Home Assistant first, so it's transferred across. So if we click done and then go into our living room, it's not automatically put it in the living room. We're going to click settings and we're going to include the blind in here. So blackout blind, we'll put a tick in there just to make sure it goes in. We'll click save and the living room is ready. So we shall click done. Now it should show the blackout blind. Now it's showing us on for some reason in Lady A. I don't know why, but that's just how it comes up. This is why I don't generally use Lady A, because I don't like the smart home functionality. However, for those who do like it and for those that it's their only option, I will show you how it works here. So if we slide this slider down to 42%, so it does work, and we'll go back up again, see if it pauses and goes back up. And again, it does seem relatively fast at operating. Now that that one's in and it's confirmed and it's all working, what we need to do is do the same process on the blind at the front, which is going to be the sunshade. I'll do that quickly now so that you can see, but I'm going to do it at double the speed, so that, because you've just seen how to enter it in, but I'll do this at double the speed and you can skip ahead if you want to. As we can see, we're now upstairs and we have the single blackout blind. Learning from the other window, I've got a slightly thinner drill bit that I'm going to use, and I'm using my own wall plugs and screws that I think will fit a little bit better. As Sam's showing you, I have marked it out here, so this is where the backs are and the two holes need to be, and then again on this side we've got where it is and where the holes need to be, so that should be lined up. So I'm going to drill these holes and see if it goes a little bit more smoothly. In keeping with the theme of real problems, as it turns out, there is a very thick steel beam above here and I can't drill through it. I've actually snapped a couple of drill bits trying to drill through it, even though I specifically ordered a bit that was supposed to do it. So instead, what I've done is I've got this bit of wood, I've cut it to length, and it's going to be going up here, as you can see, and as you can see, I've already got these brackets on there. I am going to be putting this up with some no nails up there, and it isn't going to be the prettiest. However, it will all be cleaned up after this video is done, so Sammy isn't going to have to put up with a lot of crap. But what I'm going to do is, because the blind is slightly heavy, I'm not just going to rely on the no nails. I've actually got a little bit here, but it is going to be hidden behind the blinds, and that will, as you can see, support that there. The way that I figured this out as well is the brackets were on the top of the blind while I was doing it. If we put this on here, the brackets were on top of the blind, and the front bit I put so that it was exactly the same amount as the spacer is going to be. So I will no nails this up, and then I'll show you when I get to the point where I can just click it on, so you're not having to watch all that bit. Now that that bit's been up for a while, it's had a chance to dry a little bit. As you can see, I've got some supports here just in case until it's fully cured. Now it's time to see if my measurements with this bit at the back were correct. And like I said previously in the video, real world, so I'm not going to sort of sugarcoat anything. So again, with this part, we will now take off all of the foam that's on here. There we go, and there we go. Now, as you can see, you have your charging port here, and while it's here, you can see the little reset button, pairing button, wake button, and then you have your little antennas here. There we are, that's secure now. And just double check this side, and you can actually feel if it goes in. That one's not quite in. I thought I had that. There we go. And there we are. So that is now all clicked in. And this one, you will notice, is a vinyl blackout. And what we want to make sure as well, just as we're going along, is that wants to be even on the tracks. So I believe you can edge it across just ever so slightly. So now we have an even gap either side, here and here. That is the blind now installed up there, and what we're going to do is move across. With this one, I'm going to put it into Apple Home first and then put it across into the other ecosystems. So I'm just sat here basically editing, and I've decided to cut this next bit out. Essentially, when I'm setting everything up, it is exactly the same, except I'm adding it from Apple Home to start with and then transferring it across to the other ecosystems. If I kept this bit in, essentially it makes a 27-minute video into a 50-odd minute video because I waffle on. So I'm just cutting this bit out. I'm going to skip now to the blind working, and then I'm going to go through to my final thoughts. As you can see, the blind is now all set up. The light strips are on the sides. I do have to get something for the bottom, simply due to the fact that this itself is actually tilted this way a little bit, so the bottom comes down pretty much where it needs to, but on this side here there is a bit of a gap. So that isn't anything to do with the blind, it's to do with whoever built this house. The blind has been put up here with no nails, and it has a 50 kilogram capacity once dry. The pieces of wood that I used to hold it up are now off, and what I did was I actually gave the blind a little tug just to make sure that it's not going to come off. It's definitely not coming off. The remote that came with it, if you look and you can see the little LEDs, we'll put that onto the third one, and it is pre-programmed to this blind as well, so we'll press down. As you can see, it comes down at a decent rate, and hopefully it's picking up on camera just how much light that this is blocking out, because it is seriously blackout. Again, this one slows down when it comes to the top part, and it slows down when it's getting to the bottom part, and it's quiet enough that it isn't going to disturb you while you're sleeping, so you couldn't use it as an alarm. The light blockers are quite effective. However, I wish I had have gone for the U-shaped light blockers just to sort of give it that little bit of a finish off, because if you're stood at an angle, so for instance from the bed here, you can actually see like a little slither of light when you're on an extreme angle to the blind. However, when you're facing straight on, or for most of it, you can actually see that light, and it doesn't really affect it too much. Again, I have fit the solar panel on the window, and it was as simple as peeling the little protective strips off the sticky pads, sticking it to the window, and then we have our wire here that goes into the USB-C port on the bottom of the blind here. It is set up as the other one downstairs is, through Home Assistant, Apple Home, the Aqara app and Lady A, so it's in all four ecosystems and it does work across all four. One of the things that I forgot to show you is, hey Siri, close the blind in the main bedroom. And as you can see, the voice assistant works. Hey Siri, raise the blind in the main bedroom. And as you can see, it is a little bit slower than the remote or app control, however it is still fairly quick, and I think some of it comes down to your network and how strongly things are matched on the network. What I will also do is go out and shout across to where I have a Lady A. Alexa, close the blind in the main bedroom. Alexa, open the blind in the main bedroom. So as you can see, it works across both of those ecosystems and both voice assistants without any hiccups and without any problems. Now again, this one I had to alter the bottom, and when you need to alter the height of the bottom, this isn't on SmartWings, this is entirely on me, because I had to add this top part. To alter, whichever way you do it, you hold the two buttons for 5 seconds until it flashes white, and then you put it to your desired height, and then you hold them buttons again for a couple of seconds, and once you do that, the blind will sort of go do 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 do. It is the same if you want to alter this top part as well. You would hold the middle and up button, and that determines the upper limit. Now that that's installed, we're going to go across to my final thoughts. With the ability to customize these blinds with your fabric, customize how the top valance looks, the various different choices with light blockers, and a massive range on various different sizes, so both width and height, they have something for everyone. They have the dual blinds here and the roller shade blackout blind upstairs. They don't just have that, they have many different options, and thus far I am 100% impressed. I haven't had any negatives. The problems that I had installing the blind were entirely down to myself and not checking, for instance, how high the metalwork is above the window frames. So for this one, I thought I was going to have to tap through. I subsequently ended up snapping a couple of bits, and as it turns out, it was a big enough gap between the window frame itself and the metal lintel that I could use normal fixings. The one upstairs turned out to be a little disaster. You didn't see me filming, and it's possibly a good job because there was a good bit of swearing. However, when you have a normal house that seems to be built properly, I imagine that these would be a heck of a lot easier to install, and I reckon if you read the instructions and you prepare properly, from opening the box and laying everything out to getting them actually up will be a very short time. I reckon for this one, if I had done a little bit of research beforehand and maybe just piloted a little bit, I think that I could have got this blind up in maybe 20 minutes tops, and same with the top one, in fact maybe 15 to 20 minutes. Even if you don't need matter support, they do cheaper motors. I do believe, however, they are going across to support matter on all of their blinds. I do like the fact as well that they have different styles, not just the roller shade, but they have cellular shades, they have wooden woven shades and things. It means that there is a variety for everyone. One thing that I did want to bring up is that immediately when I told my parents about these blinds and they looked at them, they said, oh yeah, they're absolutely brilliant, but there was a mention of, oh well, they seem a little bit expensive. However, when I pointed out that if you want bespoke blinds from anywhere that aren't smart, and I know this because my brother is an upholsterer, he has his own upholstery business and they do things like blinds, the actual price that you pay for custom blinds that aren't smart and very often you control manually with a chain is roughly comparable, especially when you get into looking at your own fabrics and things. So these ones are comparable to something that isn't smart. However, with this you're getting to control them across the ecosystem of your choice. Not only that, multiple ecosystems at the same time. So I think they are actually a very good value for money when you look at it that way. If you buy something that is on Amazon that is a generic blind, yes, you might be getting blackout, however you're not getting the perfect fit between the two sides, or you're having to cut the blind down yourself, which very often leaves the blinds frayed, because I've done that myself and that's exactly what happened. So I think when you look at it that way, they are actually a very good value for money. You're getting a bespoke blind, it's tailored to you, it's tailored within a 1/16 of an inch, which is a tiny margin, and you're even getting them pre-programmed with the remote and pre-programmed to the height when you measure correctly. As I mentioned at the start of the video, SmartWings did send these blinds through and they didn't charge me anything. They got in contact with me and I was actually very excited because I've seen other people reviewing them and I thought, oh, this would be cool if they perhaps one day got in contact with me. And at that point I never imagined that they would. Now, after a couple of emails back and forth, I did say that, look, can I have creative content? Is there any stipulations? And the lady that I spoke to was super nice and she said, no, there's no stipulations. The only thing is if we send them out, then you do have to make a YouTube video. Obviously, I was completely willing to do that. They said that I have full creative control. They're not going to tell me what to say. I can mention good and bad points. And as you know from my channel, I always give you it from a real world perspective. So that's what I've done. And genuinely, I cannot see anything bad with these blinds at all. As long as you measure properly and you choose the ecosystem or matter that that's right for you, then I genuinely can't see anything wrong with these blinds, which is a first, because there are usually things that sort of gripe a little bit. So there we are. If you do have any questions about the roller shade blinds, or even if you have a question about Matter in general, you perhaps don't know how it works, then please get in contact with me via the comments below. And if you have something a little bit longer that you don't think that can go in a comment, then you can always email me at andy@andysreviews.co.uk. I may not get back straight away, but I will aim to get back to you, and I aim to answer every single person in the comments. Please do like and subscribe and share the video to somebody who you think it may be useful to. It genuinely does help the channel. Once again, if you are interested in the blinds, then please check out the description where there is an affiliate link that you can go through. I may get a small amount of kickback from you using the link, but it's at no additional cost to you at all, and it really does help the channel out. I also like to do a real world view on everything that I do. This is why you may see mess about the house and things like that, so your support would be greatly appreciated. Until the next video, then I hope you guys have an amazing day. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.